Welcome to this YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to talk about the top 10 rarest cars. Cars are one of man's greatest desires. It's been this way since the Industrial Revolution, and still is today to more futuristic extreme. There are some vehicles, especially in the form of classic rarest cars, which have become highly sought after by some of the richest collectors in the world, who spend days, months, if not years hunting for certain models of cars. And to filter the list out of the many automotives in thousands of productions till date, here's the top 10 rarest cars in the world that you probably haven't even heard of. The rarity of the cars have been ranked by popularity, overall fame, price worth, as well as year of production. Number 10. Packard Panther. We may consider this car exactly what its last name suggests, Panther, being the inspired shape of its exquisite and rather unique design of that era, which in the forefront appeared like that of the face of the cat itself. Packard Panther's concept design was meant to show the world where the design and future of cars were, heading back in that era, and has certainly given attention to detail in shaping it exactly as envisioned. The Packard Company had plans to feature a new fleet designed by the late 1950s, yet hasn't gone full-blown into production, which leaves the Panther to remain one of the rarest cars in its name. This 1954 masterpiece is a rare of its kind and also featured the flicker lights. Packard Panther can be picked up for around $800,000. Strangely, if you look closer at the front of how it's designed, you would see a mustache-shaped bumper and grid, which is one of the most distinctive features of the car. Number 9. Tucker 48. As the year suggests, 1948 is a long time back from now, and which ultimately means very rare also. We're here looking at a rarity that truly defined what big-built cars has always been about. Men of the 40s sure would have enjoyed driving in one of these sedans and owning one as a family car too. I'm picturing men with double-breasted suits, fedora hats, and about 2 children, boy and girl, and that very homely type country wife in the front seat, in a scrambly car which makes a lot of noise as it takes off. Preston Tucker, being the father of this large-built car, has only unfortunately managed to make 51 of these before the collapse and shutdown of his company, and ultimately making it one of the rarest cars in the world today. In honor of Preston Tucker's unfinished dream, a 1988 movie called Tucker the Man and His Dream has been centered around the production of this car in that era. The value of the Tucker 48 car now is estimated to be of $1.2 million in value. Number 8. Aston Martin Bulldog. If the Aston Martin Bulldog and the DeLorean were parked next to each other, it would be subconsciously given the impression to a viewer that either one of the cars are an older or newer model of, each other seeing that its unusual flattened shape is highly identical to each other, which includes the doors which open upwards. The car can also be misrepresented at first fast glance at being an older model of a Lamborghini as well. And Lambos have only one shape known commonly to the world in its unconventional design, and so does the Aston Martin Bulldog. Aston Martins in general have always featured its classic design, even in the modernized versions too, but they did it all different with the Bulldog. The Gullwing doors, which open upwards, are definitely a unique addition to the car, making it one of its kind. Aston Martin, as a company, planned to produce 25 limited editions to test the sales of it, but only one Bulldog was actually ever built. Estimated value now, $1.3 million. Number 7. Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing. Speaking of rare cars with Gullwing doors, the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL also had one to pull up as a 2-seater of luxury back then, just as how we have our 2-seater luxuries today, which are extremely expensive. While very common and in high production on the supercar markets today, the Merc 300 SL Gullwing, however, is both the combination of rare and very expensive too if you manage to find one for the purchase today. This beauty had lasted around 2 years in production until due to development of a newer Roadster concept version. Regardless of the beauty not being very long in production, it has been one of the fastest top-speed cars in the world of its time. Having this much, and a 3.0 engine from which the 300 came from as well, as being fuel-injected with its sleeky classic European luxury coupe design to boast surely makes the 300 SL one of the rarest cars in the world, which banks it at an estimated $1.5 million today. This was certainly a bird that spread its wings and flew as fast as it could on the road. Number 6. Talbot Lago Grand Sport. Talbot Lago, wow, looks exactly like a more civilized version of the famous Batman car. There is also much similarity between the front of the Talbot and the front of a vintage Aston Martin as well. By vintage, I mean more in the D85 production design concepts. Talbot Lago Grand Sport can be considered as a presidential vehicle of its time, as it certainly gives off an upper society appeal to its shape, design, and price, even in those days. To conclude it for you properly, it can be taken as a hot rod back and an Aston front fused to give us one Lago design. Talbot Lago Grand Sport, a part of legendary automotive history, and has had only 12 produced, with people paying over $2.5 million for their share of golden car history. Number 5. Porsche 916. We're so used to our fixed mindsets and images of what a Porsche would look like in our minds, and we always somehow go back to one commonly visualized shape all in all, regardless of what model we picture. This may be due to seeing one shape of a Porsche all the time, and nobody could blame us. We are still able to see hints of the gecko head design in this one, but we had to go look harder than what meets the eye. Nevertheless, out of 11 of these beauties that were made, only one has been shipped to the United States of America. Speak about rare. Yeah, it could reach a top speed of 145 miles per hour, which was one of the fastest Porsches of the 70s when it came into production. The Porsche 916 has been sold privately in recent years for around $3 million. Number 4. 1954 Oldsmobile F88. 1954 has been the year of several things in terms where all of the world's classic cars of today have had their birth in the desire of man's mind ever since, and to have taken the streets as well. Here the Oldsmobile has definitely shone bright and bold in its distinctive design and shape. The older cars, as a matter of fact, have been built with more vroom than some of the futuristic designs we have today, all built in the hope of keeping in line with economic compensations. A 250 horsepower V8 rocket engine has been what this collectible has been born with, yet never fully had the chance to tear the streets apart seeing, as though only 4 has ever gotten the chance to stroll out of the factory in style. We're banking on the price value now at $3.5 million to own one of the 4 that were created. Number 3. Ferrari 250 GT Spider Convertible. Bella Italia. Beautiful Italy, and this country sure has plenty things to boast other than its exotic women, the sceneries, the countrymen and their class, and unconventional style, the food, and the everlasting romance. Oh, I have forgotten to mention the rich heritage of their magnificently crafted cars, which had represented the finest of quality throughout the history of producing them. The only one ever made has been sold to car collector Bob Lee, who still owns the Ferrari 250 GT Spider Convertible today also. We're looking at a price of $10 million to make this sale and have the only one ever made as yours. Unless you're a Bill Gates or a Trump, good luck on completing your Italian stallion collection. Number 2. 1921 Helica de Layat. This ain't a car. Technically speaking, it's built of biscuit-shaped rims. Not sure if I could even call it that. Okay then, wheels. Somewhat bicycle-threaded tires around it. The horn is actually a horn which is visible from the outside, sort of like a trumpet-looking thingy. The back looks like it's supposed to actually be the front, sort of the opposite of the Helica de Layat, seeing that the pointy side of the body faces the back. Oh, and the front! Well, the front has a large circle with a fan. That looks like those types of boats, which can also drive on land, hovercrafts. The giant propeller, which could be visible at the forefront, was the engine of this uniquely designed vehicle. Number 1. Rolls-Royce 15 HP. The Rolls-Royce 15 HP is certainly the most rarest cars in the world, seeing that it was the first car model to have been produced by Charles Rolls and Henry Royce, and which obviously have been the launcher of the success of the brand at which they are proud to have today. A total of 6 Rolls-Royce 15 HPs were made, and only 1 is still known of existence. The name of the car suggested its horsepower being 15, which is modest, and a sort of funny to us now, but obviously considered a powerhouse of its day. Although, in its design, it might have appeared to be a beast of a car in its day. This was actually a regular on the streets. The lone remaining Rolls-Royce 15 HP can be seen touring the world in car shows and automotive shows around the globe, and is estimated by insurance companies to be within the value of around $35 million. What do you think of our list? Which of the cars shocked you the most? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.